A cop has fallen after a clash with Batman and Robin, and now Savage has the Dark Knight in his sights. Hust Gray lifts his phone and starts recording his older neighbor. Hust Gray's civics project, take one. Okay, Miss Marjorie, how has Gotham shifted the most over your years? Hust questions. The older lady smiles, settling back into her sofa, reflecting on how the city evolves constantly. New structures rise, areas transform, but Gotham remains Gotham at its core. Outside, gunfire rings out in the night, cutting into their chat. Hus can't resist and dashes to the window, scrambling onto the fire escape to capture the scene. His gaze widens in astonishment as he spots Batman and Robin hopping into the Batmobile right below. Holy crap, Hust mutters, swinging his camera over to the crime area where two officers lie in spreading blood. He stays hidden, filming as the police secure the spot, zooming in tight while holding his breath as Commissioner Savage draws a batarang from his coat. He dips it in the slain officer's blood, tucking it under the body before summoning an investigator. Later, Savage stands in the hospital chamber of the surviving cop. We uncovered proof linking Batman to the site. Why wasn't this noted in your account? Savage presses. The officer shrugs weakly. I didn't spot him, sir, the man murmurs. Savage leans close, gripping the man's oxygen line. You and your partner figured you'd nabbed Robin. Batman showed up to bail him out. Name him, officer. Place him there, or you'll never utter another word. Savage hisses. The monitors blare an alarm, and a nurse hurries in. Savage backs off as she tends to the man, assuming he's fighting to breathe alone. Savage nods. Hold your tongue, Officer Davis, until you're sure you've got the correct words to share. Savage instructs before exiting the room. In another part of the hospital, Bruce Wayne enters Tim Drake's room to see him and Bernard in a heated discussion. Bernard believes I perished in a skiing mishap and no one informed me. Tim tells Bruce. Bernard spins toward him. Bruce, hello. Step out with me briefly. Tim requires rest, Bernard requests. Bruce agrees and spots Tim pulling a face. They move outside, and Bernard expresses gratitude for Bruce's visit while guiding him to the waiting area. Thanks for showing up. You know, Bruce, I noticed something odd recently. Bernard begins, every time you and Tim head off on those buddy getaways, he returns all battered. Strange, right? Time with you always leaves him injured, Bernard highlights. Bruce starts to respond, but Bernard grabs the flowers from Bruce's grasp. These are beautiful, thanks, Bernard comments before turning and departing. Bruce stands there, caught off guard. His attention drifts to the waiting room TV where Hugo Strange debates with a woman on a Gotham news broadcast. The woman has developed a medical tool called the Crown of Storms, designed to stabilize brain patterns and aid those society labels as unstable. Irregular brain function can lead to severe emotional instability. My invention restores some of that stability to my patients. Fear blocks us from controlling how our brains react to trauma's disorder, but it demands trust, compassion, and patience, Dr. Zeller explains. But Strange argues that the woman has accepted funds from Wayne Enterprises, tainting her research. Dr. Zeller shakes her head. We got a grant from the Wayne Family Foundation that backed our initial program, but they hold no control or say in my efforts. Those funds built a prototype and started our first human tests, she clarifies. But Strange rises and pounds the table. I don't require your test to confirm my humanity. If tyrants like you used your gadgets on Van Gogh, he never would have created Starry Night, he yells. But Dr. Zeller just gazes at him. Or perhaps Van Gogh could have crafted 100 Starry Nights rather than suffering to death at just 37, she replies evenly. Meanwhile, Bruce has returned home and spars with Damian. Amid strikes and blocks, he inquires if Damian plans to attend Gotham U, having been accepted 4 years ahead. Damian dodges a strike, stating he's mastered combat, martial arts, medicine, and criminology. What field could I possibly not have conquered? He questions. Bruce keeps sparring with his son. Literature, history, poetry, he proposes before pinning Damian against the wall. Girls? College has girls, Damian. Smart ones, Bruce adds with a grin. It's fine to fear the world beyond, he goes on. But Damian knees his father low, dropping him before removing his helmet. I dread no one, for my cause is just. You instilled that in me, Damien declares with irritation as he exits the training space. Bruce sits on the mat as Alfred appears beside him. "Did I ever do that to you, Alfred?" Bruce asks. "Physically, sir?" "No, emotionally, many, many times," Alfred replies. In another part of the city, Officer Jim Gordon phones his old pal Harvey Bullock at Bullock Investigations in Alleytown. Well, if it isn't the world's most seasoned patrolman. "How's the leg cramps, newbie?" Bullock teases. Gordon frowns at the phone. "Hilarious. I need you to light the signal." "Something's off with Savage," Gordon says. Harvey rubs his head and yawns. "Something odd with Savage." "Sharp sleuthing there, Jim," Harvey remarks, but he grabs the plush bat in his office and sticks its suction cups to the glass. "Consider the bat signal lit," Bullock informs Gordon. As night blankets the city, Batman touches down on a shadowed rooftop, finding Bullock and Gordon there. "How much public cash did we waste on that rooftop beacon all these years when a cheap stuffed toy stuck in a window grabs your notice?" Bullock observes. Batman shrugs. "Jim's concept, not mine." He rumbles. Gordon faces them. It was a sign for them, not him. "So all new," he begins, but Bullock raises his hands to halt Jim. Yeah, I recall," he says. Batman moves to the building's edge as Jim and Harvey detail how Savage is leveraging last night's officer shooting to alter GCPD rules. He aims to tip the media that evidence pins you as a cop slayer. He's commanded shoot on sight and authorized a private merc team for the task. Jim reveals. Batman nods quietly. "Everything old is new again," Batman states, observing a police car racing down the street, seemingly oblivious to a woman crossing with her dog. "Hey, Jimmy, how's tall, dark, and creepy gonna pull his vanishing trick from a small spot like this?" Harvey asks with a smirk. Batman gestures toward the speeding vehicle and the woman. "They're about to strike that woman," he murmurs. Harvey and Jim hurry to the ledge, watching in shock as the car nears. "Those lunatics!" Harvey bellows, but it veers at the last second. Gordon and Bullock turn to discover Batman vanished, having slipped off during their distraction. "Funny, very funny," Harvey grumbles. In another spot in the city, at the Wayne Enterprises Experimental Sciences facility, two guards slump, blood seeping from slashes on their faces. Edward Nygma passes them, his question-mark staff dripping blood as he heads for the lifts. "When are lace-ups as handy as trainers? When is a sprint contest a total bore?" Nygma mutters as he navigates the building and its defenses. Finally reaching the chamber with the Crown of Storms prototype, he raises a controller and shuts down the alarms, wrapping up his puzzles as he grins and grabs for the gadget. When does the rooster skip the dawn? And, what did Napoleon try for his dental pain? But abruptly, a fist emerges from the gloom and cracks his jaw, shattering his lenses and flooring him. "Oh, Edward!" Batman sighs as he disables the cloaking on his stealth gear and materializes before Nygma. When they're knotted, when it drops without a vehicle, when the clock's broken, and when he sees the crown, Batman responds, solving all of Edward's puzzles. He bends down. "You were holding it together pretty well for a bit, Edward, head of Nygma Tech. Wealthy enough to buy out of any mess." "What went wrong?" Batman inquires. Edward rises and lunges at Batman, attempting to wrestle him. The Dark Knight twists and hurls him through a glass pane. He advances and extends a hand. "Please, Edward, end this," Batman says gently. But Nygma snatches a glass fragment and tries to stab Batman, spinning swiftly and attacking repeatedly. When is the Beatles film list unfinished? Why do ears despise restrooms? Why did the endless motion device get fined? "Well, puzzle me that," Edward snarls. The Batman effortlessly deflects the strikes and disarms the glass when it requires aid. Because there was excessive clamor in the skull. "And what, Edward? Tell me, why did the endless motion device get fined?" Batman says as Nygma drops to the floor, clutching his skull. "Because it couldn't halt," Edward murmurs. He extends a trembling hand into his pocket and retrieves a note. "Here," he murmurs as he passes the paper to Batman. Batman examines the extensive riddle list Edward penned. "What is this?" Batman asks. Edward stretches a shaky hand toward him. "Hours! It took hours," Make it cease. I just want my mind to quiet, Edward murmurs. Batman regards him briefly before agreeing. He draws from his belt and gives Edward a sedative, letting the villain slump to the floor. Meanwhile, at Inky's Eatery in Lower Gotham, Huss Gray nears a man in a booth absorbed in his newspaper. Mr. Dean, I rent in your place. I captured something on film. I believe it could be newsworthy. And that's your field, right? You're a newsman, Huss inquires. The veteran reporter folds the paper and raises an eyebrow at the youth. Meanwhile, the Batmobile hurtles through Gotham's avenues. Did Hugo Strange set you on this little break-in, Edward? Batman questions. But Nigma is scarcely awake in the rear. Who? What? No, he mutters. When ain't Kay a ram? Edward murmurs before drifting off again. Batman sighs and steers the wheel. He glances at the seat beside him and sees Alfred there. Ain't draws notice to itself. K-1000. Haram prohibited could be nonsense, Batman suggests. Alfred nods and peeks back at the dozing foe. He shakes his head. It's an anagram. Master Bruce with a double negation spin. So when is K part of her limb? When it's in Arkham. Batman nods and accelerates. I think the Riddler was indicating that your Dr. Zella has been testing her experimental gadget on the inmates at Arkham, Alfred states as the Batmobile thunders toward Arkham Towers. And that was the full tale for Batman Issue 3 by Matt Fraction. What do you make of the new Batman so far? And what about that sleek new stealth outfit? Share in the comments below and like and subscribe to support the channel.